Welcome to class. We're going to root down and really balance today and stand strong. There's always a need for us to just stand in our own presence and honor that and add a little strength as well. We all need it. So let's come to a comfortable seat, and that means sitting cross-legged or sitting kneeling, sitting on a chair. I am demonstrating side sit today, just finding that comfortable. If you do side sit, definitely switch it out during the seated practice, just so that you even things out in your system. So we'll come to that seat and find your sits bones on the edge of a blanket if you're on the floor, and make sure that your pelvis is spilling like a bowl gently forward so that we allow for that lumbar curve. If you'd like, you can warm your hands and then place them on the lower back and notice that natural curve. We always want that there as we want to support the spine and keep it natural. So take the hands to the thighs. And speaking of natural, let's tap into the natural breath. Close the eyes. We want to cut out the visual distractions. It allows you to go inward a little bit more, feeling the ground beneath you, your root through your sits bones in this pose. So our foundation here, we have that at the sits bones level. And witness your natural breath. In fact, our conscious breath work today is simply going to be observing our breath as we challenge our balance and things like that. So just notice how you're breathing when you're moving. Always a very good habit to bring off the mat. Let's close those eyes, and at the same time, feel some length in the spine as you reach the crown of the head up towards the sky. And on your exhale, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, immediately setting yourself up more aligned, facilitating your breath. Notice as you inhale that breeze-like quality that the inhale has on your system. Nice, cool, refreshing. And as you exhale, noticing those vayus, the apana vayu, emptying out of any debris you don't need in your mind or body or spirit. So witnessing the breath, noticing the inhale as a filtering process for the lungs, the body, the mind, and then exhaling, noticing that the exhale is allowing you to cleanse. Inhale, filter in, and exhale, filter out. The subtle movements of the body echo the breath, right? So just notice what those movements are. Whether your belly expands, your ribs, the chest. Maybe notice if there's an evenness to that breath on the right and the left. And even as you keep your breath in that autonomic state, see if you can center it in the area in front of the spine. So that's traveling down and then up the spinal area. So that would be the middle of the body, in front of the spine. And the inhale, giving you that sense against gravity, so just floating. And the exhale, allowing that root to settle in and the foundation. And if you can keep the eyes closed and take your hands to the bottom of your ribs. So fingers in front, thumbs in back. And just noticing as you inhale, what happens to the ribs. And also bringing our awareness to the bottom of the ribs, that diaphragm that expands on our inhale and then contracts on the exhale. And now, if you can bring the heart, the sternum taller so that it's shining out nice and bright, as if there were a spotlight coming out of your heart space. And feel that sense of upward motion as you inhale and the heart goes tall. And then as you exhale, see if you can tuck the low ribs that you have in your hands towards the back of the body. So tuck them in a bit, and you'll notice some activation of your core. That's the transverse abdominal area. A really nice stabilizing point to think about as we balance. And then flutter your eyes open, drop the hands beside you, and then reach up towards the sky. Feeling that stretching now, the awareness on the ribs. You can make that tall heart action, but then let's tuck those ribs in again in the low part. So we can really notice that keeping our torso supported. And roll the shoulders away from the ears on your exhale. And then look up at your hands and imagine an amazing light ball of energy floating into your hands, filled with positivity. I don't know if you've ever been at a concert or an event where there's this really lightweight ball floating around the crowd, and it just kind of floats up from person to person without a lot of pressure or weight. Just look up and imagine that falling in your hands and joyously reaching for it. Inhale as you stretch your side bodies, and then bring the gaze forward. And then we'll take those hands together, clasp the fingers, and see if those palms can reach for the sky, or you can keep them in prayer position. And if you're in the side sit like me, switch it over to the other side, and then reach up, feeling again the muscles on the side, really taking action here to stretch up. And then exhale, we'll come sway over to the right side, and then the left, and the right and the left. Feeling the base remain stable, and yet the flexibility of the spine, all of the motions we can take with the spine, it's really quite miraculous. Come back up, reach up again. Inhale, and then just take the uncommon linking of your fingers, and then do that again. Like your sides, your whole torso has a fabric, and you're stretching that fabric out. And then reach up again, fingertips to the sky, palms forward, and bring the thumb and the index finger together. Inhale, fill the body with breath, and then exhale, bring the elbows down into our toning position here, cactus, hands spreading out through the fingertips, elevating those upper arms. Inhale, exhale, take the thumbs behind you and the pinkies up towards the sky. Maybe look up with that rising up of the pinkies, and then come back. Bring the palms forward. Inhale and exhale, and take the forearms down, and just feel that rotation through your shoulder sockets, nice and therapeutic rotation as you hang the forearms down as loose as possible, scarecrow style. Inhale back up, and then take the thumbs behind you, look up. So we're gently visiting the possibilities of our spine flexibility, and then come back, hang the laundry down, or hang like the scarecrow. And then up. One more time. Feel some fluidity entering your upper back, and then forward and hang down again. And then we're going to tone those arms, keep them nice and the forearms to the side as you bring the fingertips together. And the elbows are like sword blades away from the body. And we're going to use the rhomboids in between the shoulder blades to squeeze those shoulder blades together, and the elbows will go behind you. So the action is not propelled by the elbows, but by those nice bigger support muscles in the back. And then your heart comes forward, and just repeat a few times. Beautiful. And then come back up to our cactus. Take the pinkies forward, bring the forearms together. One of my favorite sequences. Press the forearms together in the pinkies. Inhale, watch the elbows reach up towards the sky. And then when you've reached the limit, just open it up like a curtain. Come down, dock the elbows into the ribs, those low ribs that are nicely tucked in. And then bring the forearms together, pressing it. The first time I did this pose at a class, I had been, working in an office. I bring him down to the elbow, to the ribs again, one more time. And it was like, yoga magic. I was just like, wow, it's really a great unrounding experience. And then as you come down this time, let's bring the arms out into a T and just reaching through the fingertips. And then take the palms forward and imagine one of your favorite people or beings, and we'll hug that person or being and take the left arm over right, or hug yourself. And then take those fingertips to meet the shoulder blades, edge of the shoulder blades, and just round the back here as you do this into that cat position, navel towards the spine. And then come back up, bringing your spine in a neutral position, and we'll just open the elbows like a shark, mouth there, and then come back, closing it, open up, invite in that air, filtering in what we need, and exhale, squeeze out with the right arm over left. Hug yourself or imagining a lovely person or being, and then curl the spine. Look down. Feel that toning of the navel towards the spine, and then come back up, elbows, spine in neutral, and then just open the elbows up, rotating some more through our shoulder sockets, and bring that back together. Float those fingers to the ground, and we'll find those extra roots through the fingertips. So imagine they have just tendrils of roots down to the earth in that. Think of the pace like a tree, just slowly growing those roots. Feel that effect on the spine. You get to get millimeters between those vertebrae as you lift the crown of the head towards the sky, turn the chin over the left shoulder, and turn it over the right, exhaling. Inhaling through center, exhaling to the other side. We'll take a chin tuck towards the left shoulder. Pressing through your opposite hand will really bring some ergonomic relief to your neck. Trace inward towards the collarbone, along the collarbone to the middle as you look down at your heart. Float the head up on an inhale, and exhale, look to the right. Tuck the chin toward the right shoulder and press through the left fingertips. Set yourself up aligned and setting a therapeutic stretch here as we trace a line along the right collarbone into the middle, staring down at that tall heart, dropping the weight of the head and hopefully the weight of some of the mental stress you might have. Inhale, bring the gaze up, and then look up towards the sky. So we're just getting our full range of the neck here. And then come back. And before we switch to our all fours, we'll take a nice easy twist. So just walk your fingertips around the body towards the left, as if you're having a large circle around the body and you're tracing that with the fingertips. So lead with your sternum and maybe look over your left shoulder, bringing it into the neck, and then walk the fingertips back again around to the other side, facing the right. And then maybe you bring the gaze over the right shoulder and then come back. And now that we've given our spine all that fluidity and all those possibilities, we'll bring this to a whole other angle and take it to all fours. And you're gonna cushion those knees, cushion the shins, allowing the knees to drape over the edge of your blanket if you have one there. Make sure if you don't have a blanket for some reason, you can make sure that all fours uses your shins as your base and not your knees. So I'll demonstrate here. My kneecaps are nice and relieved because the weight is off of them They're lifted up a little bit and they're just suspended off the edge of the blanket. Really cool way to have long-lasting knees. Okay, come on to your shins and the wrists below the shoulders. And we'll squeeze that armpit as if we had both armpits, as if you had a magazine or newspaper under those armpits. And feel the length in the spine already as you strengthen your shoulders. And then we'll do a lovely familiar cat position, tucking the tailbone under, bringing the navel towards the spine, separating the shoulder blades. Let's just micro get into this and then drop the head. Inhale, lifting the tailbone. Sacrum points up as well, and we're coming into the navel, dipping towards the floor. Traveling up the spine, squeeze the shoulder blades together, bring the gaze to the floor, and then we look up into cow. So get into the details here as you repeat cat and cow. Even as you get into cat, you can really tone the navel towards the spine, bringing that lower back into that C curve and adding strength here. Back into cow. Just imagine in your mind's eye traveling along the intricacies of your spine, making sure to drop the head at the end of that cat, and then cow again, always echoing with your natural breath. So come back to witnessing your breath and take the movement to match that. Find your way back to a neutral spine, and then we'll get some nice strength here as we curl the right toes under, come to a little straight leg behind you, and then lift the right leg up off the floor, pressing through the back shin. And even as you stay here, before you lift the other arm, you're going to just pull into your midline as if there's a magnet, vertical magnet there on the horizontal, a horizontal magnet. They're pulling you into the center, and then lift the left arm. That magnetizing towards the center, just explore that and how that stabilizes you. So we're going to try that in our balance as well. Your exhale brings you back down. Find the root, and then we'll curl the left toes under. Nice straight leg behind you, straight left leg. Lift that off the floor. Find that center, and then lift the right arm up. And from here, you've got that stability, keeping your sacrum nice and even, having a favorite beverage on that sacrum that won't spill, and then exhale down. We'll repeat this, and again, find that breath, the witnessing of your natural breath, and meditate with the movement. Keep the stability and fluidity together. Magic combo. Lovely. Exhaling down. And I'll take a little more toning here. So curl the toes on the right under and that straight leg. And we'll lift the leg up off the floor. And as we were prepping for our bird dog, but we're going to curl that cat position and combine it with bending the right knee and bring it towards the right elbow. So just curl through into cat and bring it forward. So we're toning, and then exhale, reach out into that long prep for bird dog. So the hands are down on the mat. We're just curling in with that back leg toward the elbow 3 times. Getting long on that stretch out and squeezing in and exhaling. And then bring the right leg down, shin finds that base. Curl the toes of the left behind you, lift it off the mat, nice and straight. Find the midline, inhale, and then curl the navel towards the spine as you bring that knee to the elbow. This time, inhale will lengthen you up to neutral. Exhale brings the knee forward. Then again. Beautiful. And then bring that down. And this time we'll take it again with the elbow meeting the knee in the middle. So find that midline beneath the navel. Straighten out the right leg, lift it up, left arm, curl in, elbow to knee in that diagonal. 3 times. Reaching out allows you to invite the breath in, and curling in, you can exhale and filter out what you don't need. We'll switch to the other side. So it's the left leg reaches up with the right arm, meet in the middle, elbow to knee. Keeping that stability, not rushing anything. Really nice. Come back to neutral. And if this is comfortable for you, go take child's pose. You can roll onto your back and squeeze the knees. But otherwise, bring the hips to the heels. We'll take a nice long child's pose. Long, meaning the arms are going to be long. Bring the forehead down to the mat. Just luxuriate here. You can slide the hips side to side. Great. Feel that sense of mental stress leaving your third eye between the eyebrows. And breathe into the back body. Inhale. Exhale, find the root through the palms of the hands and the fingers and the feet. And then curl up through a cat. We'll transition to a down dog. Rising up. So we're going to curl the back toes under. You can move your blanket aside. Keep the knees bent and the feet hip width apart. And we'll just take the ribs to the thighs and push away from the hands through those long arms next to ears. And here, let's make sure that we take the armpit energy and squeeze it towards the ribs, right? So want that strength through the shoulders. Pedal the feet, get into our hamstrings. Heels come down towards the mat. Feel a sense of lifting up in the middle of the body. So we're making a pyramid shape here, right? So the hands and the feet are the base. And we've got that midpoint. Imagine somebody just lifting you up, weightless there. And as you exhale, feel that base of your feet in your hands. And then lift up onto your tiptoes, bend the knees, and see if you can bring the heels down to the mat and maybe straighten the legs. If not, there's no pressure. If that is too much, you can just keep those knees bent, no problem. Lengthen, lengthen, growing upwards. And now bend the knees and bring the hands back to the feet. And we'll hang down here, looking at the world upside down. I would say everyone these days seems to need a change of perspective, not an attachment to one perspective. Let's hope for that in our world. Hang the head down, take the thumbs to the elbow creases, and just feel that traction already as the head releases and your your ribs touch the thighs. Keep the knees behind the toes. Great. Now release the hands, sweep the arms behind you. I still can't get out of the Winter Olympics vision of people skiing down a mountain like this. So squeeze those imaginary blocks between your thighs together, and then sweep the fingertips towards the mat, and then up next to the ears, bring the ribs off the thighs, stand strong, shoulders away from ears, gaze soft and balanced. Feel the foot spreading out, and then stand up slowly, slowly. Bring the arms next to the sides. Beautiful. Now we're going to practice some balancing today. So we had worked on half moon last week, and there was an actual half moon in the sky here the other day. So got to celebrate that again. If you want to put the chair on the right side of your mat, let's do that. So when we were last week, we got into our half moon through the side angle pose with the bent knee. We're going to enter it through triangle. So grab a block if you want. We'll try triangle first and then use it as an entryway to our workshopping again of half moon, because half moon is super challenging and it's great for the core, great for the legs and the whole body, and also the outlook, but it's really good to practice again and again. So let's take the feet out to the side, open stance. You guys know the score, so keep those toes parallel, and then we'll shift them so the right foot is facing the right side of the mat and the back foot is angled about 30 degrees. And we want to make sure as we take this hip position that we have a sense of the knee tracking behind those middle two toes. So lifting the quads and keeping that knee aligned with the toes, very important through all of these side orientation of a pose. Take the hands to the hips and keep that block on the side if you'd like, so you can come down next to your foot. Okay, but let's even out through the hips. So the concept we're coming into this into half moon later is through stacked hips. So that's why we're facing the hips mostly forward as much as possible. Inhale, grow long through the spine. Exhale, hinging at the top of your right thigh. Spill yourself over, but keeping both sides bodies long. So not draping over, but lifting. And then exhaling, finding your shin with your hand, right hand, or the block, or the chair. You can even reach out for that chair. And then as you do so, think about those feet. Are the toes spread? Are they magnetizing towards each other? Find the base, find the stability. Keeping your hand, the left hand on the left hip, gaze down at your toes, and then just take a gander with your eyes up your leg and see about your knee. Is it bowing in? Are you activating those quads so you keep it nice and lifted and even? Okay, and now we're going to speak about that gaze again. Bring the gaze forward, find a still point in the distance, and take your left thumb to your left armpit. Just reach long through that side body and then lift the left arm up towards the sky. And this time, if you can turn the heart upward towards the sky just a little bit, you'll get a twist out of this. Again, bring the gaze down to your toes again and check in on that quad situation, keeping that knee nice and micro bend. Great. And then take the left hand to the left hip, pushing through the feet, come on up and grab that block so you can take it to the other side. And then next to the left foot, angle our feet the same way, but to the opposite direction, hands on hips, feel that lovely lotus of the pelvis. And that's how the spine is growing upward. Take the hands to the top of the thighs. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, hinging at that left hip. You can press into, the left thigh. You can press in there, feeling that length as you grow upward, finding your shin, finding the block. And let's look down at those left foot, spreading the toes on both feet. They find each other energetically. And then let's travel up the leg and watch and see that kneecap is going up towards the thigh. We're not just flopping and hyperextending, not a good situation. Bring the gaze forward. Find stability there. And then reach that right arm, right thumb to right armpit, lengthen, and then bring that right arm up. So feel that connection, right fingertips to the sky, left fingertips to the earth. And brightly shine that heart up towards the sky, looking up maybe even. And then face forward, micro bend your left knee as you float up with a natural breath. to parallel toes, switching to the other side. So we can take the block. I encourage people can use a block if you are feeling very comfortable with balance, but I'm going to just demonstrate it with the chair as well, so you know about that stability as well. Take the right toes to the right and we'll angle ourselves towards a triangle. Inhale, let's take that triangle again. So lengthen and come over towards triangle. And as you're coming over to the side, bring your gaze down to those toes and bend the right knee towards the middle two toes. So we're bending towards as if we were going into a bent knee pose, but just keeping it bending towards the toes. And then when it comes to around the foot level, just stop there and reach down with your hand. So our right hand is reaching beyond the toes, magnetize the feet together, and then bring your gaze forward. So we're just practicing here with that gaze change, which is a key part of our balance poses, is keeping that gaze nice and soft and steady. And then come on back up. We'll just take to the other side and toes to the left, hands to the hips. Inhale, exhale, bring yourself over to triangle. Look forward and then look at your toes. All those little reminders we had, and then bend the left knee towards those toes, keeping it nice and tracking, and then reach the left hand, just reaching beyond the toes. And now change your gaze as you keep the right hand on that opposite hip. Okay, and then come back up. That's just step one. And now we're going to release some weight towards a balance. I'm going to show it with that chair, or you can grab a block and just use that as your counterweight and come down to the floor. But I'll do it this way. We're coming down towards our triangle, right? And then look down at the toes again, bend the knee. And this time tiptoe the left toes towards the right and straighten out the right leg. And at this point, feel free to take a hold of any balance prop you want. And just let go of that weight on the left. Keep the gaze down to begin with. And just lift that weight off. Keep the left leg really active and lifting that front kneecap. See if you can keep your hips somewhat stacked. So the other day we were entering it with a little more of a closed hip. This time, because we're coming from triangle, our left hip's already up towards the sky. So we're just playing with that weight release. And then micro bend your front knee as you come and reach back with the left back into our triangle. And then coming out of that. So this is a baby flow from triangle to half moon. So on the other side with this practice, I'll demonstrate with the block. So we're coming into triangle, put that block there. Inhale, exhale into triangle. And look down at the toes. And then using my block, I'm bending the left knee straight and then tiptoeing forward with the right toes and beginning to straighten out my left leg. Again, if you have the chair, you want it right about now. And lift the weight off. You can continue looking at the floor, but feel with your right hand that that right hip is lifting up towards the sky and both your feet are super active. Inhale, notice that floating sense with your inhale. Exhale, find your root, bend the left knee, and then find your floor with that right foot. Come on back up through triangle. And then we'll take another step, which is to bring our gaze forward. So I highly recommend the chair. Trying with triangle. Inhale, here's our transition. Exhale. And then look down at the toes, bend the right knee. Reach out for the chair, tiptoe the left toes forward, and then straighten out your right leg, tower nice and strong, and check in with your left hip. See if that left hip is stacking over the right, more or less. And now, if you can release the left hip and bring your left hand to the heart, open up the heart towards the front of your vision, and then bring the gaze forward. As you try to release some weight off that left foot. Otherwise, if you just want to take a starfish pose or some kind of balance that way with the feet parallel, you can do that. But let's find our base, spread those toes, spread the foot out, and see if you can keep those feet active, lifting and just playing with it here, lifting the left arm up towards the sky maybe, just like in triangle, but we're releasing the weight on the left side. Hand to left hip, and then micro bend your front knee as you reach back and land. Come back, and we're going to switch to the other side. You can feel free to just shake that out and move the chair. So take the feet parallel. Find the triangle base, always that strong spread out foundation with balances. Maximize the floor. Inhale, exhale, let's tilt into our graceful triangle and look down and bend the left knee and tiptoe right toes towards the left and straighten the left leg. Find the right hip stacking over left, aligning that left foot. Make sure our base is strong. And if you're ready, when you let go of that right foot weight and keep it active, take the right hand to the heart and bring your gaze forward along with your heart gaze forward. And just play here. Again, if you want to stay with your feet parallel or just kind of some other way of playing with it, that's open to you. And then bring your right arm up towards the sky, that connection with the sky, and then the left arm connecting with the earth. And see if you can imagine someone holding up your right leg and your right foot. Bring the gaze back towards the floor, micro bend that left knee and reach back into our base. So feet parallel. Those are just some steps, right, to get into half moon. And I wanted just to take it step by step so that when we flow into this in some other practice, that it's a little bit easier for you to enter. We'll always enter it either through the triangle or this lower side angle that we did last week. So just tune in. We'll do that in other classes. Now we're coming to a balance that you probably will find more familiar and probably a bit easier. And again, same principle though, maximize the base and keep that gaze on a still point. Drishti is the gaze and you want to keep it still. So find our strong mountain, spreading out the feet, and we're coming into our elongating tree. So we want that strong root through the feet. Let's stand in mountain, engage the glutes, and then we're going to shift the weight to the left. And we're entering tree two ways. The first is going to be lifting the right knee up and just that right angle. And if you fall out of it, you find your limits. And then just keep the hands on the hips. And then we'll take the knee and turn it out to the side. And then the foot will find the side, the right foot will find the side of the left shin. And you just hold it this way. And then take the arms above the head into prayer and find that center, this time not horizontal, but vertical, down past our third eye, past the throat to the heart. Remember those low ribs we were talking about earlier? Let's tuck them in. Ready for any storm, this tree. And then sweep down. We'll do the other side. Shake it out and bring the weight into the right. Inhale the left knee up. You guys keep those hips even. So we're just having hips facing forward here before we were kind of off to the side. Should be a bit easier. And then turn the knee out to the side. Left foot finds side of right shin. Pulling into the center. Inhale the arms above the head. And then optimize this line, this plumb line down the body. So bring that prayer position down to the third eye, mouth, throat, heart, tracing that line, keeping our gaze steady. And then come down, bend the knees, straighten them, bend and straighten, noticing that tracking of our knees, healthy tracking. Great. And now we'll come into tree the second way, which is either to kickstand, take the weight into the left, kickstand your heel to the side of that left ankle. And you can stay here, or staying with that center in your mind, travel up the leg with your right foot as far as you want it to go. And then lift the arms up and keep them separated. We'll take our branches swaying in the wind. Let's tap into that breath, right? The breath can be like a fresh breeze. Lose your balance on purpose here. And then sweep the arms down. Center again through mountain. And then we'll take our kickstand on that left side. Left toes curl under, heel onto the side of the right leg. Find the way up. Just use that sensation of the bottom of your left foot up the right leg. Find where you're comfortable. Inhale the arms above the head. But if you want to if you find this balancing, just like, I've got this, I'm good, you can close one eye and the other. Close both eyes, which is incredibly edifying. How much our gaze is involved in our balance, right? Our midnight tree. And the windy tree, of course. Coming down through center. Find the floor again. Gravity, so good. So let's come back down to the mat and let's come to the bottom of the mat. And we'll sweep through another chair so we can get our cores active. Find that base, hip width apart with your feet. Yay, 2 feet. It's so awesome and strengthening. Let's inhale and notice those glutes engage as we lift the arms up towards the sky. And then inhale, just fresh energy into that natural breath. And then exhale, we're going to bend the knees and just sweep down towards the floor, sitting down in an imaginary chair. Exhale, bring the ribs to the thighs and bring the arms behind you. So they're reaching up towards the sky, but you're looking down. And then sweep the fingertips down, graze the floor, come next to your ears and come up. Ribs off of thighs. Feeling longer in the spine, stronger in our base. And then straighten the legs if you'd like and come down to a forward bend or bend the knees. Hang the head down. And then bend the knees, hands find the floor and just walk them out. And then bring the knees down the shins. Grab your strap on the way and we'll come on to the back. So we're changing the position of the root here. Take the back of the skull to the mat and grab that strap. And hamstrings, long hamstrings, a great way to encourage the rest of the body to reach upward. So let's stretch those hamstrings. Inhale the right knee towards the chest, circle your ankle since we were challenging our subtle little muscles in there. And then bring the strap to the bottom of the foot, the ball of the foot. And you can even do a little towel, mini towel action on your foot if you want some acupressure. And then find the ball of the foot again. Find your hamstring stretch here. It could be in a diagonal or it could be reaching upward towards the sky. And the strap is there, your friend, to support whatever level you're at. Feel that sense of gravity. So we've got a root here, which is the sacrum, the base of the spine. Find that root. And then the right leg, that reaching up through the heel as you get the sensation along the back of the leg, stretching that hamstring. Bend and straighten if you'd like, just to encourage a nice flow through your hamstring. Great. And then we'll guide that right heel over to the left hip and bend and straighten here. Whoosh, hamstring number 2. This is one that's always my most sensational. Bring the foot back to neutral. Take both sides of the strap in your right hand and just open up the leg out to the right. Now we got hamstring number 3. If you want to take your left knee out for counterbalance, you can do that. And then bring a bonus stretch into those inner thighs. All of this allowing us to elongate, to stand stronger, to connect the legs to the torso, to the head, and all of that flow in between with our breath. And then take that left foot to the floor. Guide the right leg up. And just feel again another hamstring stretch here. Maybe see if your toes can come more towards your face, but don't push that. If you have lower back issues, definitely stay in a gentle diagonal position. But either way, we're going to root through that sacrum again. Bend the right knee towards the chest. Just kind of rub your knee, just giving it some love. Great. And release the strap. And then straighten out both legs. Close the eyes and see which one is longer in your mind's eye. See if we can even them out. Bend the knees again, feet to the floor. Inhale the left knee towards the chest. And then strap around that ball of the foot. You can rub that out on the foot. Oh yeah, I forgot to circle the ankles. If you guys want to go back and do that, that's okay. And just massage the bottom of the foot. And then come to the ball of the foot. Find your foundation, back of that pelvis, the fluidity in the hip socket. Through our practice, we're keeping that oxygen flowing into all of those connection points in the body. And then slide the left heel towards the right hip. Notice the buzz along the back of the leg. Oh, bend and straighten along here if at any point you just want a little encouragement to your hamstrings. Witness your breath through all of this, which I didn't say when we were standing, but always coming to witness, what is my breath telling me about this? And then take both straps in the left hand and then ease that leg out to the left, opening up and counterbalancing with your right leg if you'd like. As you exhale, maybe it comes towards the floor a little more. Expansion. And then ease back up with our right foot on the floor. And just feel maybe the toes come towards the face a little more, but either way, plug into that left hip as if there's a weight coming from the leg, dropping into the hip. That really brings refinement to your hamstring stretch when you can drop into the hip. And then bend the left knee. Oh, find that ease in your hips, your hamstrings. So nice. And then we'll take the strap to the side. We'll just bridge up for a moment so we can just continue to tone, continue to wave through the spine. Bring the arms next to the body, pressing strong through your feet, finding again that nice foundation. Spread the toes, inhale, bring the hips up towards the sky. And then pressing the arms into the earth will just give you that extra leverage to bring the sternum towards the chin. Again, find the subtle movements here as you hold the bridge. Watch the path of your breath. Imagine squeezing a block between your thighs. Really wakes things up. And then snake your spine back down to earth. Place the sacrum down. Let's bring our knees together and roll onto the left side. And then bring the hands together. So I've done this tree pose before with you guys, and we're just a reminder that The Hidden Life of Trees is a really good book about the pace that trees have in their language and communication together. And that's something we can learn from, is to just take our pace back a notch and communicate in a more subtle fashion with our bodies, with our world. So let's do an open book. That's why I'm bringing up a book. Open book twist. Bring the palms together and keep the thighs 90 degrees to the body. Inhale the right arm up towards the sky. Just see if you can touch a cloud there, and then arms out to a long T. We're connecting both sides, the fingertips on the right and the left, across the collarbones. Keeping the knees together and just dropping into that right shoulder. Adapt as you need with your arms if you have some shoulder issues. And then press the left arm into the floor, lift up the sternum, ease yourself down again. Just drop the way that might have seen a trunk of a tree, just surrendering to the forest floor. And then sweep the right arm up towards the sky. Palms meet, and we can switch to the other side. To your right side, knees together. Keeping this entire twist is really a middle to upper back twist, so that that pelvis can remain in a nice 90 degrees to the mat. Inhale, lift the left arm up towards the sky, sweep open across that sternum area. So we're really feeling the connection between the fingertips on either side, allowing that natural breath to flow. Press into your right arm and see if you can lift up a little bit and settle in, keeping your knees together. Accept that natural force of gravity on that left shoulder. And then lift the left arm, touch a cloud. Come back to center with your hands and then roll onto your back. Find yourself long As I said before, like a tree trunk in the forest, just heavy and surrendered. Flop the feet out to the side, the arms to the side, palms to the sky. Shimmy the shoulder blades together underneath you. And then you'll melt your shoulders even more towards the earth. Set up, aligned, body ready to accept the rest. Our little moment here of traveling at the pace or communicating at the pace of a tree or the moon. Oh, I'm sure things are slower up there. Slow down for a few more moments, evening out your breath. Taking that same witness approach to the breath that we began with. In our 60 minutes together, just a nice opportunity to see how you can transform the breath. Notice any changes. The in-breath, new energy from our atmosphere, just naturally there for us. And there, exhaling to absorb what we don't need. We're in harmony with the natural forces around us. Through the breath. And may all of us find that harmony with our natural surroundings. Bring it inward. And allow it to expand to the rest of our planet. And beyond to the moon. On your next inhale, wiggle the fingers and the toes. On an exhale, bend the knees and the elbows. Just roll the head side to side. And then roll over easily onto your right side, away from the heart. Press into the mat with your hands, easing yourself up. Do a seated position so that the head is the last to float up. And then take the hands in front of that heart, pressing into the center that's always there for us whenever we need it and whenever we can tap into it, it's there. Thank you so much for sharing the practice with me today, everyone. Namaste.